Hey guys, welcome back to what should be, or pretty much will be, the final episode of Let's Play Nobunaga. Let's Play RTK 14, Romance of Three Kingdoms 14. It's 14. I'm Mysterious JG. Yuan Shu's armies have chased his ultimate rival for control of China, Mori Motonari, the time-traveling warrior from the future. Basically, we captured Liu Zhang before finishing off Liu Zhang's force, and executed him, and then captured his son and executed him, and somehow Mori Motonari took over the force. So we're going to be in the Samurai Warriors universe. He's like the most kind of boring and banal of the guys that they put in this game. But he didn't really put up a fight. The force was already defeated before he could take over, and we are about to take over. Bobo will actually be involved in the kill, which is kind of fun. We're about to finish off Shooting Yamao, Dawn Everstar, Toll Panzer, Lethal Felon. We got Zerfall here. We got an all-star lineup. Really, Dajun and Vulture Bobo. The only real historical officers who are even involved. Jihao Dun will not be in time. Gao Shun will be there. But it's going to be Zhou Kang and I do vaguely remember who he is. And Ji Ling, who I think is an actual... He's if I am correct, he's an actual Yuan Shu original officer involved in the kill. Officer of Yuan Shu was skilled with the war trident when Liu Bei's army attacked. He dueled with Guan Yu as many as 30 blows. Later ordered by Liu Biao to attack Liu Bei, but was made to retreat by Liu Bu's mediation. Oh, I think he might be the guy who led an army to fight Liu Bei, and Liu Bu did the thing where he, what did he, like, throw a war trident and then shoot it with an arrow? And, like, he set up some impossible trick shot and said, if I hit this trick shot, there will be no battle today. If either of you engages the other, my army will side with the one you attack. This is an infamous story out of the novel about how Liu Bu was a badass. And he basically got in the way of his Yuan Shu, who was kind of his ally, and Liu Bei was also his ally. So he was trying to protect Liu Bei. Yuan Shu's army had Liu Bei basically cornered, was going to defeat them, and Liu Bu came in with this weird, like, I'm an ally to both of you. I don't want you to fight, so I'm going to prevent you guys from fighting. And Yuan Shu's armies were like, the fuck? And I think that might have been, Ji Ling might have been the officer leading. But anyway, he's an actual, original, real Yuan Shu army guy who's here at the end. It's not just a bunch of goofy created officers, so I'm kind of happy about that. Anyway, Mo. The flags all say Mo for Mori, I suppose, or possibly Motonari, but probably Mori. Jihao, we gotta check Jihao Dun's unit. It's morale. They keep pumping him up. Either that or it keeps decreasing because of how far he had to march. Our target is Yunnan, by the way. Item in Yang'an. It's really great, guys. So morale is like pretty good for all these guys, but he's got, well, I guess it just kept dropping, and that's why they needed him to constantly get morale boosts. I'm only looking at the suggestions in case suddenly it's like, you want to hire Zhuge Liang? Oh, Zhu Zhuan unit. Oh, okay, I forgot about those guys. I sent them out a long time ago to conquer territory. I guess it's nice that they're getting some attention from the AI suggestions, because I'd forgotten all about them. Cao Cao and Fa Zheng, they did a good job fighting, and Agman Mamarand, he did not have to get executed. And this time it was Froxus Nilok, the created officer ladies, always looking after Agman Mamarand. He did not have to get executed because we were able to eventually take Jiangye Gate. Jatong has received those supplies that I sent out a long time ago, because long time ago in game terms was not very long in gameplay, because I kept slamming through turns. Which means that they are actually a stable economy that will hold. Alright. They might survive this turn. I don't see them surviving two. Okay. And I don't think they're going to bother to counterattack. I think they're just going to let it happen. Lie back and think of England, Mori Motonari, or perhaps Japan. But don't think about China. Formation defect. Got catapults are throwing stuff from the bottom of the hill all the way to the top. I guess they didn't survive the turn. I thought they might just barely survive, but they did not. We have suppressed Yunnan. Oh man, Mori Motonari has been defeated. That's really good news for Nobunaga. That'll make it. Actually, that's going to be good news for him. He doesn't have to worry about the Mori attacking from behind while he deals with Kenshin. Honshu will be secure for the Oda. Please tell me what to do with the enemy prisoner. Hey, it's a guy! King of Jingguo and one of the D tribe members in 211, when Ma Chao rebelled against Cao Cao, a guy is summoned along with King of Baikui Huan Mo. After Ma Chao was defeated by Cao Cao, a guy was defeated by Jihai Yuan. You really think you can kill me? Well, I think I can actually, but I think we're going to try not to kill a bunch of you guys. Citizen of Aki, this is Mori Motonari, and Warring States era daimyo, son of Mori Hiromoto, after his brother Okimoto and nephew Komatsumaru suddenly died of illness, he inherited rule of the Mori clan. Taken under the wing of Uichi Yoshioki, he successfully combined hard work and soft tactics on the battlefield to lead the people of Aki. After Amago Hurihisa died, he took the opportunity to eliminate the Amago clan at Gasan Tora Castle, becoming the ruler of Shikoku with 10 provinces under his control. Let's try to hire everybody. If his name would be sullied as a traitor, he would choose death. But Mori Motonari will join us. He's like, I'm a time-traveling warrior from the future, and I can tell which way the wind is blowing. I remember reading in the history books about the long and glorious rule of the Zhong dynasty. We'll detain the rest, because why end the Let's Play with needless bloodshed? Zhong armies unified the land. I like the fact that a few units got to move around. We had Tull Panzer and Lethal like, let us see. We want to see what's going on too, guys. In May AD 201, Zhong army has unified the land. Be curious to see if this ending is fingerprint identical to the mid-game ending or if it's better. If it's fingerprint identical, then we really have to ask ourselves, what are we doing with our time? The land has finally been united. Yuan Shu have put an end to these turbulent times. Congratulations! Your Majesty, you deserve the utmost praise for this great achievement. Indeed. However, I did not achieve this on my own. Just mostly on my own. This could not have happened without everyone's trust and support, and my divine majesty. You have my thanks. Do not be so modest. Possibly dad, possibly uncle. Your meritorious deeds are quite clear for anyone to see. The real challenge is about to begin. It is far more difficult to establish and maintain a peaceful rule than putting an end to these turbulent times. That's true. Punk. Our next mission is to ensure these turbulent times never occur again. Having beat countless rival generals, that is the duty and responsibility of the victor. I'm counting on your continued support. What do you say, Brother Shao? I don't think Yuan Shao is showing up in this ending. Having unified the land, Yuan Shu began work restoring the impoverished country, bringing stability by visiting each area. Oh, this is already, I think, a better ending, it looks like. Additionally, Yuan Shu embarked on a western expedition and to the southern sea to conduct trade with distant countries to bring in new levels of prosperity to the nation. Boo! This game wasn't worth playing through for 800 hours after that grammatical error there. And so Zhong flourished for over 200 years until the invasion of Outlanders. Yuan Shu would be known as the wisest ruler in the history of the land. Yeah, okay, so it does appear that you get a better ending for the full game end than you do the mid-game end. And this is the same music, so I'm not sure that it was worth breaking the video and changing stuff. Maybe we'll get some different cinematics here, but I think it's the same ending. It's different ending text, and it's better ending text. The ending text for the mid-game ending. Somebody in the comments who's played through the game before was surprised at how poor it was. And it might have been, there might be certain people who are characterized as villains or usurpers. Yuan Shu certainly would be one of those, even if he declares himself emperor. I think if you don't support the right emperor and usurp, then you can get a bad ending. So certain characters like Dong Zhuo, I think would always get an ending that said the land plunged further into turmoil, because he would not have been a good ruler. But anyway. No, but the main game ending, if you go all the way through, you would think if somebody took the time to beat the entire game. Mid-game ending's a bit weird in this, because you really do have to get to a point where it's inevitable that you're going to win. This game more than even Nobunaga's Ambition. Nobunaga's Ambition, you conquer 50% of the land. The game tells you you've won. There's no scenario, really. There might be one or two goofy scenarios, but by and large, there's going to be no scenario where a force starts out strong enough to do that quickly. So, what was I getting at? Yeah, like, Nobunaga's Ambition, you can get to the halfway point and quit out, which is, I think, fair enough, because almost any force in that game, you're starting out with less than a quarter. So if you can double your territory, you're pretty much on the path to winning. And unless you've created a scenario where you've got one super powerful opponent on the other side of the map, once you've got 50%, you've won. But this game really does require you to have like 3/4 or like more than 3/4 of the map. It felt like it was kind of silly. But anyway, I believe this is the exact same ending as before in terms of the music and stuff, so I was overcautious in breaking the video so that I could switch my settings. Pardon me again. Avoid a copyright strike. One thing that I'm doing differently from some of my past RTK is that I didn't line up a song to sing, so I guess everyone should be happy about that. It's a little late. I don't want to get like a neighbor knocking on the door and being like, "Wait, why are you in there singing China Grove?" Or trying to sing opera as Guan Ping and Jing Tsai. I still regret that I ever did that. But now we're seeing the kind of formation of Shu. We had this is some of the most interesting action in the novel. Liu Bei's basically flight from the clutches of Cao Cao. Like, the way the narrative of this... Like, I understand people think, oh, the novel's not historically accurate. They make Liu Bei this great hero. He was just another warlord amongst many. But, like, the whole story of him escaping Cao Cao's clutches and building Shu when anyone would have thought he was doomed before Chirby even happened. It's pretty compelling and exciting stuff. I don't know how fanciful it is and how close it is to real history, but he's basically... completely within Cao Cao's power, managed to sneak out and become like a magistrate for Liu Biao. Manages to escape from that when Cao Cao comes to roll over Liu Biao, and somehow steals the kingdom of Shu right out from underneath Liu Zhang, which is what we'll see here. He's already established his territory. He's got Pang Tong and Huang Zhong, the Dream Master, there. And we got Liu Zhang's son with a headache, and the guy's name I forget, Zhang Ren, I think. There's Yan Yan. So, like, there are some named characters of some interest working from Liu Zhang, but he really did become highly dependent on Motonari Mori and Lent in this goofball game where I allowed all these strange characters to get added. But it gives it its own unique, weird flavor. If I didn't do LPing as a hobby, I probably wouldn't be doing all this goofiness with these created officers. At least not nearly as much. But it is a thing. I know for some people it's fun to have their player characters in there. I know that it's been a long time, but I watched years ago Grimmeth doing the playthroughs of RTK games and really enjoyed the aspect of having these created officers in there and getting to follow the adventures of certain characters. So I'm hoping that if we do Nobunaga's Ambition again next, some people will participate in the comments. And if they don't, that's okay too. But I had fun. I think this game, never played an RTK game, not even 12, which was my least favorite of them so far. Never played an RTK game where I didn't feel like I got a decent amount of play out of it. And you can waste money buying the DLC, which I've done on some of these games before, even though I figured I'd only go through 1 or 2 playthroughs and wouldn't ever get to the DLC. But it's a good game series. I don't mind supporting a game series that nobody seems to complain about buying, like the Madden games every year or whatever. They changed the roster, and I guess that's what I've heard people say. People making fun of like Dynasty Warriors, like, why would you buy that game? Like, that game's come out like 10 times. Why would you keep buying it? And they don't really. I don't mind supporting a series that does something different that I think is fun. And the RTK games, the mechanics in this game were quite different. Troop management was very different. Like, played RTK games where like battle tactics. I liked 11 a lot. That's one that I sometimes think would be fun to go back and revisit, although it would be a pain in the butt from a hardware perspective, because I have a PS2 copy of the game, and my PS2 is not working that great, and I don't know an easy way to play that game. Probably an emulator and an ISO, which would be legal for me because I own everything. That would be the easiest way for me to replay RTK 11. Let me know if you'd be really interested in seeing that, because now that I mention it, it would be a fun thing to do sometime. But that was very much a game about tactics and directly controlling units and using on-screen, like, battlefield tactics in a way that this game had some of that. By the end of the game, and with some hints from people in the comments, I got better at that. But this feels much more like it's about strategy, and it's about gaining control of territory. And the aspect of, like, cutting off enemy supply lines is so huge in this game. And accidentally, like, launching an attack and overextending and having your supply lines cut, in part by things like the enemy's territory expands behind you because of the conquest, overseer conquest mechanic. It's just a whole different thing to consider from the way a lot of the other games worked. Not necessarily better, but different and fun. Yeah. But we've had quite a few videos into this game, and I'm definitely ready for something else. And again, the plan right now is for that something else. A game I never quite seem to get tired of would be a return to Nobunaga's Ambition. I always get the names turned around, but I'm pretty sure it's Rise to Power. But sometime in the next day or two, I need to record a Call to Arms video for that. So that will probably be out before this video is. But anyway, yeah, last video of the series, I'm rambling. Didn't organize my thoughts for this because I didn't think I'd finish the series tonight. But let me know in the comments. This is the last video of the series. Usually the last video in any series gets more comments than anything except maybe the first. So throw out your comments on whether or not you enjoyed the series. What would you like to see next in this vein? Bearing in mind I've already picked the immediate next game. But throw out your thoughts and suggestions and just your general, that was fun, thanks for the ride kind of thoughts. Shootin' Yarmo, if you've been lurking and not commenting, this would be the time to just let me know that you continued watching, because I did start to wonder, like, huh. He went from, like, lengthy in-character comments about what was going on, which were a lot of fun to read, just disappearing. There was one Nobunaga's Ambition LP where I had, like, 3 or 4 different people doing that, and I think I got spoiled, because I generally don't get that. Never gotten it before, got a whole lot of it. Well, that's not true. I had like one guy doing that in RTK 11. But I got kind of spoiled having a lot of people doing that. This series, there was like one person doing that pretty regular, and he dropped off. So I hope people are having fun watching, even if you're not getting as into it as that. I don't know why I brought that up, because that trailed off in the series. And like I said, I don't usually see it, so it's always fun when it happens, but I don't count on it happening. But I hope everybody had fun. I may have lost the thread of role-playing as Yuan Shu a few times, but Yuan Shu's kind of his character trait is that he's incompetent. He was like so arrogant that he didn't really have good strategy. So to actually win the game, I had to kind of, my headcanon had to be that Don Everstar and others were kind of managing up and managing the organization around its head. Why Don Everstar actually makes sense as someone who might be doing that, because without having put a ton of thought into the Don Everstar and who she might be, because she's a created character someone else came up with, I'm kind of like, well, if you're a woman in ancient China and you have that kind of knowledge and expertise to manage an empire and rule the world, I'm not saying Don Everstar had to be involved in a romantic or sexual relationship with Yuan Shu, but certainly it's like, well, this is just a society where a woman is not going to be able to directly rule the land. But Yuan Shu is certainly arrogant enough and self-deluded enough that I could, like, be the power behind the throne. And he even going to get mad, because it's never even going to occur to him that I'm the one who's actually running the show. So my headcanon is kind of, this is, Yuan Shu is the emperor, but the person who's actually running stuff is Don Everstar. Shooting Yamo, I don't know that I would have thought that much of him. The whole goofy, I would have just made fun of the fact that he was clearly some kind of bull monster. But the role-playing with him kind of made me think more about what, not that I literally thought he would be a bull monster guy, but the idea that he's just this, like, vicious, brutal bandit guy who's really good at combat, and, like, you know, he rules his unit through fear and blah blah blah, but he's like, you know, he gets results, he's effective. Like, I had a lot of fun coming up with reasons that, like, how would a guy like that work for Yuan Shu? And one of the answers would be, well, Yuan Shu's the kind of guy who doesn't, he's pretty devoid of morals and honor. Like, he's all about the trappings of imperial glory, but he doesn't have anything resembling Confucian ethics, so he'll work with anybody who can get him what he thinks he wants. And Shootin is the kind of guy that, like, Don Everstar and Vulture Bobo and others have to, like, remind him umpteen times before he's like, it's like, you don't have to like it, but you do have to kowtow, and you're going to have to shuffle on your knees in Yuan Shu's presence. And if you can bite down your bile for 30 minutes, he'll dismiss you, and you're going to get a fuckload of golden power, so suck up your pride and do it. Like, I can see Shootin, like, wanting to kill Yuan Shu and making himself deal with Yuan Shu long enough to get what he wants out of it. Because at the end of the day, this empire is a place where some very bad people were able to become very exceptionally powerful. And no one could be more evil than Tao, Lent, and Rizza, as we'll find out. I'm planning, we'll see. It'll be this week that we would start. No, we won't, actually. I'll be visiting home over the weekend. I will be traveling on the day I normally record video. Sometime fairly soon, possibly having already started when this series goes. I'm vaguely planning on doing the game Altair Rizza. I think it's probably pronounced Riza, but I'm going to call it Altair Rizza. I'm vaguely planning on doing that series as the successor to doing Tales of Symphonia with Lethal on his channel. We'll do that Altair Rizza on my channel. That might not come to pass, but that's kind of the plan. So if you became enamored with those portraits, that's not a game that will play in any way like RTK14, but maybe you'll want to check that out. More likely, if you're watching this series, you'll be interested in watching Nobunaga's Ambition. There's a ton of old RTK games on my channel. Some of the really old stuff, I had much lower recording quality and technical capabilities, but I'm rambling now to fill out the time. I've never understood when people, I guess sometimes people want to feel like they're influencing the game, and I read all the comments that come in on my channel, including comments people put on older videos. I actually really like it, as long as they're just not bitching. People tend to bitch about videos no matter how old they are, but if they're watching an old series and they like it, they won't necessarily bother to say anything nice. What am I getting at here? I'm getting at, if you enjoyed this, and you haven't already seen them, there's a ton of other RTK content on my channel. Feel free to go check it out. I always like knowing that people are watching some of my older stuff. Because I don't have that thing where I can't watch, like, if find a Let's Play series that I feel like watching and it's not current on that person's channel, I'll still watch it. But I know a lot of people are reticent to do that. They only want to watch whatever is new. But I had a fun playthrough of RTK10. I had... Why am I pimping my old stuff? I don't know. I'm tired. It's late. I'm talking in circles. But I enjoyed RTK11. Let me know if you'd like to see more of this game. I kind of think I'm done. And I kind of think if I played it again, I would want to have, like, limited goals. Like, it would be fun to play through the Yellow Turban scenario. I don't know. I'm trying to think what a limited goal would be. Some of the Nobunaga's Ambition games actually set up scenarios where you could have like a limited scenario where you just had to take over the region that your daimyo ruled. Like, you know, the neighboring... You had to take over a region that your daimyo was in and not all of Japan. That could be an interesting shorter series. But RTK doesn't really have that. So I guess I'm talking in circles. I had fun. I hope you did too. And I'm going to call it now. So when we come back next time, it'll be a whole different game series. I hope you'll enjoy that too. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you have a pleasant rest of your day. Goodbye all, and remember to serve the true emperor, Yuan Shu.